Hello everyone, today we will talk about transit Pluto. Pluto transits the second house. The way transit Pluto behaves in the second house depends on the position of the second house. This transit can be more prominent in your life if you already have planets in the second house or aspects towards the owner of the second house. But the basics are this. Your attitude towards money, possessions, and material security will go through profound changes in this cycle, and you will tend to go from extreme to extreme. Pluto is in a bad position here, and the other house together with Pluto will lead to big financial problems, question your value, take away what you need for security, or take away your self-confidence. The sign will tell us what kind of behavior will take place in the next about 21 years, but it depends on the sign, whether we will have intense, obsessive ambitions or complete rejection and asceticism of material needs. The natal chart will tell us. You are invited to reconsider what you value. This extremely time-consuming transit brings gradual but profound changes to your revenue and value system. This is where the metamorphosis that began when Pluto passed through your first house really begins, especially because what you valued in yourself no longer serves you. Transformation affects your ownership and sense of what you value from within, and will remind you of the need to manage your finances effectively, and the trigger of your survival instinct is intensely activated when you feel your material security is in jeopardy. Economic crises will come to the surface and bring out behaviors that need to be transformed. This power that is beyond your control dramatically changes your economic situation, for better or for worse, and the result will be a thorough examination of your true values. Although generally watching Pluto disrupt the house that symbolizes wealth, you will feel the moments when the carpet is pulled out from under you. Therefore, you will need to learn to thrive with fewer resources and assess what you need in life to feel safe. From extreme to extreme, big changes and upheavals in your finances, from periods without money to abundance. In many situations, there is a feeling that your life depends on how much money you have available. This does not mean that we are greedy, but that we really feel that money, or lack thereof, controls your lives. Your true desires for material possessions, mentally or spiritually, allows us to put them in order. Circumstances involving drastic changes or losses will lead you to return to the bare bones of discerning what you need from what you want, and as your financial situation changes dramatically, old fears come to the surface to deal with. And as we've said before, it's crucial to assess what you need to feel safe in your life, and determine if it's positive and healthy for you or not. Face the problems of control and possessiveness and learn how to better manage these things. Don't try to keep any property or income you were used to. If there are things that no longer serve you financially, it is good to get rid of them now before it is too late. The same goes for the methods and the way you generate income. You should not rely on previous methods of income because they can dry up. So, for security reasons, attitudes about money, wealth, power have been called into question, but what is really going on is a big question. Pluto penetrates deep where we feel some humiliation, shame, or guilt. Outside the external circumstances of the present, these emotions arise from memories found in the unconscious, and are hidden under great stress that calms down only when we feel materially secure, so the solution is to release all old patterns that were steeped in illusions. Work to eliminate and replace them. The more you hold them, the harder it can be, especially if you walk on thin ice and cheat, example taxes, gray zone, corruption, dangerous lucrative jobs, etc. It can all bite you all hard. And all of this only delays your progress for your next phase, when your internal evaluation will be a priority. So, the old methods make the process of progress slower and harder, because what you do to stop feeling that inner pressure is to achieve material security. You become obsessive about securing more money or wealth. If we take Pluto as the awakener of the memory of our ancestors, with this position we are talking about ancestors who went through poverty, hunger, and the inability to procure the necessary supplies for survival. It is information that passes through our DNA and manifests as a compulsive desire to control property, attachment to poverty, or living in fear of losing everything, among other things. Of course, the loss of material and the choice of a new way of life will not always bring prosperity. The passage of the opposition, or the square with personal planets, is affected by monetary and material losses. But expectations are changing. Metaphysical and moral values will become more important and you will have less need to acquire property. Basically, your relationship with money will be transformed into something healthy. These difficulties are acceptable if viewed in the long run. Start by rethinking the ways you use wealth or energy to achieve a spiritual ideal. If you are not so financial and responsible, it can get worse until you work on becoming more detailed and focused on your finances. Raising awareness that you have no material security will lead to the conception of your resources. To do so, Pluto will take away everything that does not correspond to your true personal values, and developing a new value system that is true to who you are and can live by is necessary. So when we finally see this is definitely not a good position for Pluto, nor for second house. Your relationship with money and all the beliefs you have about money and relating to power will be put under the microscope and carefully examined. Negative and harmful signs will lead you to engage in politics, corruption, and crime, to resort to fraud and covert behavior in order to acquire wealth and possessions. So don't get involved in any dishonest business. Hobbies or collections that have become your obsession as a means of false security, the accumulation of material items that you totally need, get rid of it. It creates problems for you. You delude yourself that you are actually associated with values that you say are passionate collectors. But essentially you do not live in your life, but you are a slave to the same things. Sometimes you will open the fridge and see that in some forgotten corner is your favorite food that is already in a state of decay. Keep it in the fridge to have it, not to eat it. Leave it for later, and then it's too late and it ends up in the trash. These are all bad things, even in difficult transit. If the situation is milder and you are aware of the whole situation, you will be called to change some of these beliefs and find invaluable inner wealth. Your focus, determination, and connection with powerful people can help you improve your financial position, but it also does not mean that you become fixated on money. You have a great ability to immerse yourself in everything that interests you and understand your core composition. But it is important to be authentic during this transit and keep exactly as much as you need, and leave everything superfluous, and for that it will be necessary to do mining work, whether with a pick and a shovel, or with dynamite is irrelevant, but that's where it lies power of this transit.